He's had a real problem with Elon from the beginning of this thing, but it's like he's in this leftist thought bubble. He is in the most leftist thought bubble available, which is Hollywood. And, and I think also, he famously, there's some videos of him in blackface, and those came out, and he had apologized for them. And I think he took that hit and really doubled down the other direction.
How does a late night titan face a $500 million lawsuit? Can a single staggering legal threat truly dismantle a celebrity's entire career overnight? Is the man who built his fame on sharp-tongued jokes now experiencing the ultimate devastating irony? And when the dust settles, will the late-night landscape look completely different?
I mean, I struggle to even mention that guy's name. He's such an absolute, I can't stand him. But anyway, it's just my thought bubble out loud. We took a look at some of their reactions to the news of Trump's win. Look at this.
We're diving deep into the seismic clash that has the entire entertainment world holding its breath. Whispers from the industry suggest a dramatic fall from grace, a public reckoning that's playing out in real time across both cable and the digital sphere. This isn't just about a legal document, it's about the core credibility of a late-night icon, and we have the shocking revelation that Joe Rogan and Megyn Kelly are allegedly leading the charge against him.
Hey there. How are you doing? If you watch the show regularly, I'm guessing you're not doing great. Yeah, me neither.
Let's be honest, it was a terrible night last night. It was a terrible night for women, for children, for the hundreds of thousands of hardworking immigrants who make this country go, for healthcare, for our climate. It was a terrible night for poor people, for our allies in Ukraine, for NATO.
The stakes couldn't be higher, and we're breaking down the full story, from the initial accusations to the predicted outcome. The source of this seismic clash is the staggering $500 million lawsuit that has allegedly landed on Jimmy Kimmel's desk. Rumors are swirling that this is not merely a legal action, but an act of public execution meant to destroy his credibility. The audacious size of the sum involved sends a clear message. This is a high-stakes crisis. Adding fuel to the fire are prominent figures like Joe Rogan and Megyn Kelly, who are reportedly sharpening their rhetorical knives, eager to see the late-night empire collapse.
You know how much it costs to produce Jimmy Kimmel's show? I guarantee you it's tens and tens of millions. It could be as much as 100 million. I have no idea. You know how much Tucker's video cost? Nothing. You know how much Jimmy Kimmel, how many people he gets tuning in on an average night? Just last week, his average was, in the overall, meaning all viewers, 1.5 million, and the key demo, 236,000. Tucker would have been embarrassed to pull that on any night he was on the Fox News channel.
This unprecedented legal assault has everyone asking who is truly behind this lawsuit, and why are these digital powerhouses so eager to accelerate Kimmel's downfall? The answer, as we'll reveal, leads back to a dark chapter he desperately wants to keep buried. The controversy isn't just about the lawsuit, it's about a calculated facade. The prevailing narrative, circulated by outspoken commentators, suggests Kimmel is a comedian caught in a desperate balancing act. There are whispers that his fervent, highly vocal political stance, particularly his criticism of figures like Donald Trump, is not a pure conviction. Some argue it's a strategic overcorrection, a dramatic and performative pivot designed to aggressively distance himself from the shameful fallout of those uncomfortable, cringeworthy videos of him in blackface.
There's not a chance in hell that this is funny or gonna work. And when you see those flat, corny, late-night monologue jokes with no audience, Colbert, there's Jimmy Kimmel, there's Fallon. What they're doing is just like reading off of a teleprompter. So a bunch of really good joke writers wrote them some stuff, and then they're playing to the audience, and the audience is like laughing, so they get this feedback, and they know how to do that. They stand there, and there's applause signs, and then there's producers. There's the warm-up guy that's literally telling people to clap. They're like, okay, explain to the people. Yeah. Okay, when Jimmy comes out, I want a big round of applause. Let's practice this right now.
Did the immense public pressure from those resurfaced incidents force him to embrace a new, intensely political persona? This question cuts to the core authenticity of his current identity and is central to the argument of his critic. Joe Rogan, known for his blunt and often controversial opinions, has reportedly been merciless in his assessment of Kimmel's predicament. His highly publicized take is that Kimmel's late-night empire, once thought unshakable, is allegedly built on a foundation of soft, unoriginal comedy. Rogan's observations, which have sent shockwaves through social media, claim that Kimmel's monologue jokes are merely recycled material, polished by a large team and delivered to a studio audience coached for a predictable response. This, Rogan asserts, is not raw, genuine humor. It's a manufactured product designed for mass appeal. This criticism of his craft is an existential threat, questioning the very skill set that has made Kimmel famous.
Horrified after yours truly said in 2018 that people used to don dark makeup in order to imitate well-known Black celebrities and it wasn't a big deal. Absolutely ate up the performance by Hollywood darling Mr. Kimmel, whose blackface costumes included his oft-repeated bit as basketball star Karl Malone.
What happens when a comedian's jokes are no longer seen as funny, but as fundamentally fake? The numbers behind the scene only compound the crisis. Industry insiders scrutinizing the situation paint a truly bleak picture for Kimmel's long-term viability. While his traditional TV show reportedly pulls in an average of 1.5 million viewers, a respectable figure for broadcast television, it pales in comparison to the digital juggernaut. Think about a powerful figure like Tucker Carlson, operating from a non-traditional platform who can rack up tens of millions of views on a single video. This shocking contrast highlights a critical, terrifying shift in media consumption. Does Kimmel's heavy reliance on a free, widely available network signal a dying business model, a relic of a bygone era that simply can't compete with the raw, untamed power of the internet? The vast chasm between these numbers is more than a statistic, it's a commentary on his fading influence. What truly compounds the mounting pressure is the profound sense of karmic irony. Joe Rogan, with his signature mix of humor and bluntness, has repeatedly and publicly pointed out the sheer audacity of the situation. Here is Jimmy Kimmel, a man who built a substantial part of his career by publicly mocking celebrities and political figures, now finding himself firmly in the crosshairs of a $500 million lawsuit. The tables, it seems, have turned in spectacular fashion. How must it feel, Rogan reportedly muses, to be the one suddenly under this intense attack, to be the subject of a relentless worldwide public dissection? The man who once delivered the punchlines is now, by all accounts, becoming the punchline himself. This dramatic public reversal of fortune is an unavoidable theme in the escalating emotional narrative. Adding another layer of scathing surgical commentary to this scandal is Megyn Kelly, whose reputation for deconstructing public figures is well known. Kelly reportedly hasn't held back, describing Kimmel as little more than a corporate-approved shell of a comic. Her argument is particularly damning, that the edgy, boundary-pushing comedian from his Man Show days has long since vanished, replaced by a polished, predictable persona. She paints a picture of a performer whose political outrage seems less like genuine conviction and more like desperation, a carefully cultivated image designed for mass, uncritical appeal. This full-frontal assault on his authenticity questions the very integrity of his brand. Can he ever reclaim the trust he has lost, or is the loss of authenticity a fatal wound that can't be healed? The lawsuit itself, more than just a legal document, is being framed by Rogan as a potent form of psychological warfare. Rogan has reportedly suggested that the immense financial demand is designed not just to secure a victory in court, but to fundamentally alter Kimmel's state of mind and cripple his focus. Imagine the constant anxiety, the pervasive pressure, knowing that every single joke, every political barb could potentially add to an already astronomical legal burden. It's a strategic move, designed to make Kimmel flinch at every Trump joke and allegedly lose sleep over every monologue. This isn't about winning a judgment. It's about owning his headspace, about instilling a pervasive sense of fear and self-censorship in the man who once feared nothing. The battle is now being fought inside Kimmel's own mind. The image that truly resonates, the one that has Rogan reportedly howling with laughter, is the thought of Kimmel frantically scrambling to erase his old blackface skits from the internet while simultaneously engaging a team of high-powered lawyers. It's a vivid, almost cinematic scene of panic, reminiscent of a school kid desperately wiping a chalkboard clean before the principal storms in. This frantic damage control, whether true or exaggerated for dramatic effect, speaks volumes about his priorities. It highlights the perceived hypocrisy, the glaring contrast between Kimmel's past actions and his current self-proclaimed moral high ground. This powerful visual of a man under siege is central to the unfolding crisis, and it raises a critical question. What other incriminating evidence is Kimmel currently attempting to hide from the public eye? Ultimately, the devastating consensus among these powerful, outspoken commentators is clear. Jimmy Kimmel's career, as we know it, is in serious jeopardy. They don't just see a legal battle, they see a public demolition, an unraveling that is far from over. The days of the clever jester lobbing jokes from the castle walls are reportedly gone forever. Instead, Kimmel has, in their view, wandered into the arena, and the lion has finally roared in the form of a $500 million lawsuit. But here's the truly terrifying part, the shocking revelation that promises to keep you hooked. Allegedly, this staggering legal challenge is just the warm-up. What other bombshells await in this unprecedented celebrity crisis, and how will the entertainment world be forever reshaped by this monumental clash? Make sure you hit subscribe, because the next chapter promises to be even more explosive